Greetings. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth, and I want to flip this on around and show you what's happening here. We've got the sun approaching from the middle of the view, and the moon is at 17%. I did a video of it earlier in the morning. The moon is going to run a path and set over behind the houses there from this vantage point, and the sun is going to appear in the middle of the view and set over there later on tonight. So to be clear, they're both running different paths, obviously. So this is the northeast, that is the northwest. I'm going to take us on in now. Please hashtag my name and the YouTube channel Truth. Reason being, there's a lot of censorship and banning going on the internet right now, especially with the artificial intelligence. I'm outing it. I've had people tell me that they've been unsubscribed by somebody other than them. They're not seeing my stuff. Where in the world could a wind chime hang anywhere upside down? Only in the imagination. Can't make it happen except in the imagination. Seeing is believing. What do we see, and what do we believe about what we see? So this is all pretty interesting. I appreciate you tuning in. I've got a little bit of a different program as far as what I'm running. Ooh, it sounds like my might have been cutting in and out. Let's see. I think I'm there. Okay. So what this is it's not a cheap headset. It's actually a surround sound by Sennheiser, and it's been working great. Just recently I've had some challenges with it though, and I want to run it if I can when I go out on like the coastal preserve and that. There will be a surround sound. It's gorgeous to listen to. You might want to try it with headphones. So I'm going to flip this around and give you one more example of the water seeking level, the windshield wipers, and all of that. The shadows and the reflections of the motorcycle and the wind chimes, and going to take us on in for a beautiful ride to the beach area. I'm actually going to go to the coastal preserve first, simply because that's a gorgeous place to illustrate the calm water and the beautiful reflections that'll be showing up on it as well. Water seeking its level also means temperature differentials cause condensation. That's what's happening on the windshield. I'll typically have my temperature a little bit warmer to get rid of that, to cause that to not happen when I'm able. I just turned on the defroster strips or defogger strips in back, and you'll see the lines later on. That slight temperature difference makes a big difference. Here's what it does. It causes the evaporation, changes the density and volume of water. A gallon of water, do you know how much it weighs? Well, that depends on the temperature. The temperature changes density and volume. That's why the whole hydrologic cycle works. Here we go. Whoops. I wanted to flip this around, and I can't see how to do it right now. Doggone it. All right. That's not good. Oh no, I've got some weird emoji con. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I had some emoji cons going on for whatever reason. It's really calm today, once again, and what that will essentially mean is we'll be able to see the evaporation on little ponds and that type of thing, clearly illustrating the impossibility of a 1,038 mile an hour supposed rotation. It's only in the imagination. The rotation, she's only in the imagination. Wow, it's spectacular today, seeing that haze on through the trees there. It's just like a thin gauze hanging in the air there. And it'll be coming off of this water as well, which it is. It's just what it does. It's a temperature differential. The temperature outside, ambient temperature, is about 69 degrees. Water temperature is in the 80s, so it's evaporating, condensating. Should be a gorgeous day today. Where I live is about 10 feet above sea level. So if you hear of a big tsunami hitting South Carolina, well, it's been nice knowing you. But that's all good, because I'm good to go. I've got the clear globe in back here, clearly exposing the global lie, the impossibility of it. The only place the globe exists is in the imagination. You should know that. Many of my friends and family do. Let's flip this around here. Beautiful. So I talk about artificial intelligence quite a bit. That's one of the huge components of the massive deception and the mind control that's inundating humanity. We use artificial intelligence every day. I know I do. I'm using it right now for this broadcast. And then the cloud storage. That's how Amazon can sell things cheaper than anybody else. Its most robust profit center is selling cloud storage to the internet. They're a huge bank of the cloud activity and storage. There's a concave mirror on the right. Oh, I lost my... Boy, I'll tell you, that is frustrating. My sound breaking up like that. So I'm going to try working with it as best I can. I'll keep on going. I may have to bail. I may have to send this back on in. The Sennheiser headset. We're approaching the coastal, actually the waterway, and ships go in and out. We've got a big bridge that goes over the top, and then a swing bridge that's down low. I'm going to show you where the moon is right now, today, right up there. Pretty interesting. You know, I've been chasing after the activity of the sun and the moon for years now, capturing photos and videos so that people can see what's going on with it. How does it work? Well, it's pretty amazing. They're running two different paths over the stationary Earth. Can't see much through the haze. The waterway is tidal affected, of course. So when we get hit with a hurricane and the storm surges on us and the water purification plants, water treatment plants are overflowing, it gets to be a real problem. And that happens too when we have the flooding inland. Last year we almost got flooded out by weather wars, I called it. And I believe that to be true. That's essentially what it is. Artificial intelligence is an integral part of the weather modification and the human genome modification. As in the days of Noah, so would it be when Christ returns. There's a modifying of humanity with genetically modified organisms, and cloning. Human cloning is happening. That may sound a little bit weird, but it's true. It's true. You can check it out. I've got plenty of content on my channel to show that, to back that up. And I've had comments recently on some of my videos that they've been, the people have been disconnected from me. It's happened. I've let some of my friends and content producers know that I've been disconnected by somebody else, not me. I didn't get the notifications of their videos. I recognized they weren't there. You can know that I'm typically producing videos every day, pretty much every day, and updating my liked video playlist every day. So if you don't hear something from me for quite some time, well, there's something seriously wrong with that. Just so you know. Okay. So I'm going to pan on over when we get up to this opening to show you what the coastal sun appearing over the coastal preserve looks like there. I should be arriving right on time for the sun appearing, breaking the plane over the stationary Earth. On the left side here is the coastal preserve, and the sun is approaching from there, out of the northeast. Straight ahead in the view, virtually south, is the open ocean. This is Cherry Grove, South Carolina. There's water towers all over the place here, and then there are also cell towers too, to give us the signals, the transfer of data, to allow me to do this. If it weren't for those cell towers, I certainly couldn't do this, or you couldn't watch it. I wouldn't be able to create it. So I'm not all freaked out about that. I'll work within the system that we have. So I'm not all freaked out about 5G. I can't stop it. I can't stop that. I'll get better upload and probably signal response and all that. And yeah, I'm not all freaked out about weather modification and chemtrails, as some call it. It's weather modification. It's when somebody says, "Do you believe in global warming?" I'll say I know that there's for sure weather modification. It's patented, proven. Okay, so right now we've got the waterways filling up. It's just what they do. I've got pictures of the Prince Resort right there in that pond right there, showing the perfect symmetry and the reflections that exist because of the plane mirror that undisturbed water is. It's not only flat, it's level. In the middle of the view it says dead end and no turnaround. That's what happens when you're dead. You can't turn around. You can't change your mind. Yeah, I had one of my commenters say, the earth is round, changed my mind. Hey, it's not my job. My responsibility is to make the information available. You might not even be able to change your mind. How about that? Isn't that special? I believe that God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So that's how I roll with that. There's a beautiful fragrance of burning pine trees, campfire kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get the P1000 rigged up here, and I'll show you how I do that. Now there's a little bit of a breeze. So here's the rig right there. I'll just set that up. I've got a polarized lens on it. Okay, the moon up here. Let me fire this bad boy up. Okay, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I've just started the P1000 recording. Wanted to go ahead and show you a couple of things. Please hashtag my name and YouTube Truth. Truth is the name of the channel. And I'm going to zoom in on the moon right now. The sun is scheduled to appear here at 6:05 Eastern Standard Time, right on the coast of South Carolina. So I shot a video earlier this morning showing the moon with a lot less lighting around it. And I believe, based on my years of recording that and photos, that the moon has a concave surface on the back and a convex surface on the front. When we see the full moon, we're looking at the convex surface, and then it's rotating, as best I can tell. If you go to my Facebook page, I've got a photo album with thousands of photos of that. Please notice the perfect symmetry of all the reflections. Yesterday we could see the building much clearer. There's a breeze now coming offshore. It's coming out of the north at about 5 miles an hour. So I've been a little bit more bold at putting my copying and pasting my channel in comments, because you know what, if I can't drop my like video playlist on people whose videos are in that playlist, then there would be something wrong with that. I mean, if somebody doesn't want my link to be there, you can just delete it, and I'm not going to be all upset about it. You may not like some of my views on things. That's certainly your prerogative to edit that out of there. I want to zoom in on this little bird here. But with what's going on with Facebook and YouTube, Google, the artificial intelligence is censoring us big time. And so I really believe it's important to like and share each other's work. I do quite a bit of that. Every time I add another video to my liked video playlist of over 2,500 or 2,400 videos, I'm sharing the content of talented creators. Some of them I have different views with on different topics. So if you want to know what I believe about a topic, just scroll through my videos, you'll see, because I'm covering all the major topics of significance. The creation, the creator, our need to be born again, that's all a part of it. What will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Okay, so high tide was right about now. but I've shown high tides where it would be a couple feet taller. It was a 4'1" tide. A 6-foot tide will come halfway up to that middle upright there. In the summer, like it is now, you can see the hot spot in the middle, the light spot in the middle of the view. And in the winter, it will come up in the middle of the view there. Did you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? If you do, seek immediate help. So that's the Prince Resort in the middle of the view. Cherry Grove Fishing Pier is right in front of it. I'll be taking us out there when I leave this area. I just wanted to establish location, multiple views. So to keep in mind, we live in the middle of the view there, about 7 miles away. Now from this location, notice the beautiful reflection of the building not being obscured by the ripples from the wind, and a little further down we can see the ripples on the water. You'll see this much more clearly with the P1000 recording if you care to. I'll link it together. So seeing is believing what? What do we see and what do we believe about what we see? Therein lies the deception. So illusionists or magicians actually are using magic in many cases. There are illusionists that just use sleight of hand, but there's more than that going on, just so you know. I've covered that on my channel as well. You can see it if you care. So the sun and the moon are local, and that's just the way that is. And I don't know the distance. Neither of them are 30 or 3,000 miles away. When I first looked into the flat Earth, that's what a lot of people were talking about, that the sun is 3,000 miles away. No, not as best I can tell. That baby appears really close, and I don't know how it works, but when they're telling me the temperature of it and giving me lies about the distance away, I'm calling them out on it. They're lying, I ain't buying. Notice the path that sun is moving. One of the other dynamics with the local sun is how it lights up the clouds nearby. Because I take so many photos and videos, I can tell you for sure that it's really, really close. When I can zoom in on craters on the moon, and I've got a friend that keeps on saying I couldn't see the flag and the rover, I'm convinced that the moon is close enough that if there were a rover left up on the moon, I would be able to see it. We don't have any high-powered telescope pictures of the moon having a rover and a flag on it. Whether or not you believe this camera could accomplish that, that's entirely... People believe largely what they want to believe. Those little white spots on the right side of the view are just reflections. Now, looking at the big picture, notice how local and small that is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move this. For a moment, though, I'm going to zoom in tight. I don't want to miss this moment of showing you where it is in relationship to that tree. And I think this is probably a good place to stay for now. And that's one of the reasons why I'll back out. I want you to be able to see the big picture as well. So what I'm noticing one more time in the local sun, I'll probably hashtag local sun once again so that it will enter into a group of titled videos that I've shot that cover that. So according to the account in the Bible, the sun and the moon and stars move above a stationary earth. And that most certainly is what I observe. And that's why I'm showing it to you, so you can have an opportunity to explore that. Ooh, look at this guy coming across the water. How cool. The coastal preserve here is a sea level liquid mirror. Because of the tidal activity, all the reflections change because their elevation changes. That's what happens with that. So not only is the sun coming towards us in the view, and it's not just coming directly straight at me or at the view. We can see in relationship to where the tree is, the movement that it's had. We also have the water level falling now. We've got a diurnal tide here, high and low twice a day. And then the tapestry of clouds that are also moving to illustrate the lighting. Notice the clouds there and how they're being lit up by the sun. I'm going to go ahead and pan on around so you can see this a little bit more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you mind if I pan on by you? Good. Where are y'all from?
Illinois.
Oh, welcome. We moved from Wisconsin about a decade ago. Love it here. A lot nicer winters. I've got my YouTube. I've got a live broadcast and a recording, but there's my contact information. You'll see this video up and quite a bit more if you choose to go there. You're welcome. So now as I zoom in on the sun, it's depending on it's very, wow, that's pretty amazing. Look at the similar consistency of the cloud structure and the way that it appears in the clouds once again. And I understand that there are people like Mick West that have all kinds of explanations on how that's not possible. Well, Mick, you're just an agent. No nice way of saying that. You might want to see who you're really working for. So even when Google and YouTube are censoring and they talk about why they're doing it, they're unaware that they're puppets as well in this very elaborate deception that's going on, leveraging artificial intelligence. People are making decisions based on false information. Remember, 2 kids stealing a bicycle is a conspiracy. What do we call brainwashing humanity and projecting a false reality? That's a big deal. That's why I'm outing the whole corrupt system. And when if you choose to scroll through my liked videos, you'll see that I cover it pretty thoroughly. And if there's topics and videos that you would like me to comment on or review and see if I should add it to my playlist, go ahead and link it in a comment. Command C, copy it. Command V, paste it. I've got a lot of subscribers that currently don't have their playlist available, and I would encourage everybody to do that. If you're in a position in your life where you're not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth, well, then making your playlist available is a powerful way of letting people know where you stand on important topics like life and death and eternity and abortions and vaccinations and all of that. People largely believe what they want to believe, as best I can tell. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So it's beyond a satanic deception, a little trickery, a little sleight of hand. And that's why I want to help you all relax a little bit on just doing the best you can with what you have and letting God take care of the results. It's between Him and the individual. I'm convinced it's only by God's grace anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So what I'm going to do is, well, this is pretty interesting. I want to show you the same building that we couldn't see as much of because of the ripples on the water. Now we can see a whole lot more of it. And keep in mind, none of this would work upside down. That's the reality of that. There's up and down, not upside down in relationship to each other. We don't have this setting all upside down on another side of a globe, except in the imagination. That's the only place it exists. So out here at this location, I've got videos that are up to almost 12 hours long, from the Gospel of John to the Book of Revelation, professionally merged and narrated. And one of the things that you would be able to see then, if you care to, is how the tide goes higher and lower and exposes the irregular surfaces of the bottom of the ocean, the clam beds, and then the birds will come out and the people will come out walking all around, some having to get pulled out of the mud. So like right over here, I'll show you the beautiful reflections of those houses. And what happens is the sunlight makes that those colors pop so much more. And like in the view right here, we can see where oh, you're good, right where you are. Notice the reflections there, how that works out. And we can see that 2 feet more water would go quite a bit in. That's just what it does. Now, when we had Hurricane Matthew, the water covered this railing here. That's one of the reasons why the houses are on stilts here. We're in a floodplain. But interestingly enough, even though we get a storm surge, then the water can just go away. Where inland, where there's rivers that converge, like the Waccamaw River and all its tributaries and the swamp and all that, it was flooding neighborhoods, ours included. It was coming up in our neighborhood. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to zoom in one more time on the moon here. Let me show you what that looks like. Very subtle. A lot of light is hitting it, and you can see that. And then you can see what it looks like when it's all dark all around it, just a short time ago. So now I'm going to zoom in on the two buildings, and we can see one has a much clearer reflection because of less disturbance by the rippling from the wind. So part of the decoding of all of this, as far as looking at beautiful photography from all over the world, the benefit of this right here is this is right connected to the ocean that covers the face of the earth. The same physics and properties of water apply in mountain lakes with pristine, clear water and snow-covered mountain peaks that are going to melt and irrigate that whole mountain. And then as it carries on down, some of that water will be diverted and create electricity through hydroelectric power. We've got the dams and reservoirs. And then we've got the heating of the water with coal, steam, and nuclear and solar to create steam that moves turbines, furthering the electrical power generation. And I'm convinced there's technology that there is electricity in the air all around us that can be harvested. That may be what happens with some of the power lines. I don't know. Nikola Tesla had technology where he wanted to make wireless electricity available for free to the world, and it wasn't viable by the corporate entities. They chose to shut it down. And a lot of Nikola Tesla's inventions are used in our society today. I'm using a lot of it right now. And some of it is classified as a national security, and so it's put away. Some get to use it. Some of it's military. I talked about my first job was working on a farm carrying buckets of milk and shoveling manure in the early 70s. Lots changed since then in our society, in our world. And what I want to help you to realize is that one of the reasons why I was able to work hard a lot of hours a week and be happy to get $4 a week was, well, $4 went a lot further in 1970 than it does now. The monetary system has been diluted, and we've got inflation, taxation, with really bad representation. It's not that we don't have representation. The problem, one of the problems is that a lot of politicians leave office with a whole lot more money than they came into office. Where did all that come from? Yeah, you can research it. Like Nancy Pelosi, for example, many millions of dollars wealthier than when she entered into this whole thing. You can just look at the history of people, if you care to. We're being once again manipulated, thinking that we have a choice in the electing of a president and that. Well, it's the illusion of choice. I'm outing him. I'm telling on him. And my opinion may affect others' perspective on this. I hope so. some of the most important changes in our society happens, I'm gonna flip this around, is going to happen with you. It isn't so much what policies you can change or I can change. It's what's going to happen to you, what's going to happen to me. What decisions am I going to make to walk obediently with God? That's why I do this. That's why I talk about this. Because it absolutely matters for eternity, the choices that we make. So if you're struggling to make choices that you know you should do, if there's something you believe you should stop doing and you can't stop it, like I was an active alcoholic and drug addict, and I thought I was supposed to be all new in Christ and have the power to overcome all that. Well, in theory, that's how it works. In actuality, what happened with me is I thought I was born again over 35 years ago until I actually was roughly 4.5 years ago on Reformation Day. That's also celebrated as Halloween, as the blood-drinking, human-sacrificing Satanists celebrate. And they sweeten up the deal with candy distribution, a lot like Santa Claus, Satan Claus, NASA lies, Satan lies. Almost everybody I've asked believed that Santa knew what they were doing and whether or not to bring them a lump of coal or the presents they wanted. I remember seeing a reindeer pulling a sleigh on a radar. On the same TV, I saw the moon landing hoax. Right after I found out that Santa was a lie. I didn't find out the moon landing was a lie until, gosh, a few years ago. I knew for sure that they were lying 5 years ago, so I'm telling on them. That's just what I'll do. So I'm going to end the P1000 broadcast or recording, and I'm going to start another one right away. It's so beautiful. Feel free to reach out anytime. My phone number is 1-843-504-1776. Okay, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I just started up another recording with the P1000. And I'm going to zoom in on the moon right now. It's going to be a little challenging to see. It's a 17% moon, and moonrise was at 3:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at this location. Oh, you're welcome. Pleasure to meet you all as well. Thank you so much. Wonderful couple from Illinois visiting. Yeah, glad we had a chance to meet. You know, it's fascinating the people that I meet out here doing what I do, and this is a road less traveled. Oh, I think I need to zoom out a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. There we go. Yeah, sorry for the extreme close-up. So it's a road less traveled to be a truth teller. And then the places that it's taken me is pretty interesting in that relationally. When I first started divulging or exposing the reality of the world that we live in, it was pretty disturbing how many people just did not want to hear about it. Well, that's still happening. It's just that I also now have a lot of friends that are very interested in exposing this reality to the world. Anybody who will listen. And so one of the reasons why I'll speak for myself, and I believe many of you would agree, is that we do this because there are those that we're going to encounter that are going to be grateful that somebody cared enough to reach out and tell them the truth in spite of all the ridicule that would happen. Wow, very interesting indeed how this all looks. So there is patented weather modification. I call it weather wars. It's a war on humanity. Imagine, like I said yesterday, if you could control the weather, public opinion, the politics, the governments, the financial systems of the world, the militaries. Oh wait, yeah, how about that? Artificial intelligence has that covered. How about that? So I'm not all upset about it. I'm just exposing it. I realize it's a battle that we're in, and I'm just, unlike a movie where somebody gives you the spoiler alert, I'm just telling you, hey, this is a reality show and you're in it, whether you like it or not. It's a battle. Well, we're in it. Not just you, we are, all of us. All of us are in this battle together. It's not just a theatrical presentation for entertainment purposes. It's so people can come to know the reality of the need to be born again, and then to make sure that that has happened. And so that's why I do this. Because I believe that matters for eternity. It's kind of interesting. I can hear chickens. Maybe you can hear them on the broadcast too, coming from the area where those houses are over there. I've spent a lot of hours out here recording the beauty and majesty of creation, and then merging it with an audio Bible. Sometimes I'll take video without any commentary. I'll just let the beauty of this sink in. Do the talking. On other broadcasts, I've run on over to the ocean to show you how it's right there. And I'll be getting over there. It's just fascinating to me to see how this whole scene changes here with the lighting, and how you can see that what I was noticing that was just so powerful is the light beam moving closer and closer to me. The interruption of the light beam because of the marsh grass. So like as I zoom in, all of these reflections will change when the elevation of the reflector drops down sufficiently that it's going to expose clam beds and a very irregular surface of the bottom of the ocean here. Now we've got a tidal activity here that's roughly 3 to 7 feet. Normally 4 to 6 is what it is more commonly. And we'll have major tidal activity or storm surge activity with hurricanes and tropical storms. Just like the water is rippled, has more of a matte finish there. When wow, and then the little fishies there. So when we have the storm surge and it's pushing water hundreds of miles an hour in some cases for thousands of miles, that builds up a lot of water. So what I'm going to do here is just back on up and show you where I was this whole time, right there, and let you take a look at this. So it's interesting. I can show you the walkway, but the thing that I find so amazing is watching how the reflection follows the eyes of the observers, which is all of us. So right now where I'm standing, I can show you, let me show you how it is. I can feel the intensity of the sun and the reflection simultaneously blasting on me. That's one of the reasons why fishermen can get so burnt by the sun, look like a saddlebag with a couple of eyeballs, because of the intensity of not just the sun, also the reflection of the sun. So I'm gonna zoom in on it and split the distance. There we go. And let's take it on in and see what it looks like a bit closer. So with the proclamation of the local sun, the biblical support for that would be Job 37. And I was just standing over there on the end of the dock, or the walkout. The pier, it's a pier. It's very interesting. We've had shark come in here, shark, dolphins, a lot of small fish. High tide was about 15 minutes before the sun appeared here. And I'm going to take us on over to the coastal preserve. I mean the open ocean. Now, in the middle of the view, I'm going to zoom in on the water tower there. That's the tower that you can see from photos when I'm out at the Cherry Grove Point. So one of the things that I talk about, and others that have cameras and technology like this talk about, well, the P1000 or the P900, we can zoom in with such detail on the moon. How could it possibly be as far away as we're told it is? Well, the fact of the matter is it's not that far away, and neither is the sun. So there is mystery with it, with sun, moon, stars, with creation. I have a sense of wonder about it all. That's one of the special things that I get to enjoy, is just the reality of this. I can smell the beautiful fragrances because, well, my sense of smell works good. I'm not smoking cigars or cigarettes, which turned everything into a very gray kind of existence. So if somebody is all upset about chemtrails and they're smoking cigarettes, I would say, gosh, I wouldn't do that. I used to. And talking about mind control and the drugging of the food and water, and then willfully impairing their own perception and perspective with self-administered drugs. Well, I used to do that. I just don't do that anymore. So that's why I'm outing this whole corrupt system, is to let you know what you may want to consider. Have you been born again? You know, we don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. You know, there's up and down. We don't have upside down in relationship to one another. It's just the way this actually is. So the perfect symmetry in the water, in the reflections, and as I drove on in and showed you the dead end sign and no turnaround. Just think about it. It's Oh, good morning. It's a metaphor, but it's also a reality. When you're dead, you can't choose anymore. That's just the way it is. So that is the Prince Resort right there. I've got beautiful reflections of that also in little puddles there when we get rain. Good morning. And some of the simple dynamics of, the water seeking its level in the way that things are designed, like parking lots and subdivisions. Good morning. That's one of the reasons why I've highlighted the simple puddles is not only are they flat, they're actually level, and there wouldn't be any level anywhere if we were moving in multiple directions, like we're told, like NASA says we are. Well, they're lying about all that. So the Earth is stationary, it's fixed, it doesn't move. And so having the Truthmobile labeled up the way I do is it's quite a conversation starter or stopper. I mean, some people will think, yeah, I don't want to get anywhere around that Fruit Loop. Okay. All right. I'm not in charge of the results. I'm not responsible for the results. I'm only responsible for proclaiming what I believe to be the reality of all this. That's why I do that. So, like, even if I'll take it over where I can show it a little bit better. The other reality I believe too is that there's a firmament, as Scripture says, that covers the face of the earth. It's over the top of the earth. So I can't show both with a horizontal view on the horizon. I've got to move the elevation a little bit different to cover that. But you could test this kind of thing yourself if you care to. And then the little dripping there, that'll happen. And that water will be flat and level. Now here's the other thing, and I talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Now that I'm showing you like this, I'll comment on it again, is that do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, that actually depends on the temperature because the volume and density of the water changes with temperature. It drives the water cycle of the world. So what happened years ago when I realized the temperature differential changed the volume and density, it went like this. I had my jug of water filled up to the top, and it's a 1 gallon jug. You can see that on there. What happened was the water was coming out of the top. I wasn't moving it. It just was sitting there and water was coming out. And what I found out is the density, the volume and density changed with temperature. That's all. And then the other thing is the light can get magnified enough that it'll actually cause combustion. I have to be careful where I put the water jug, or it'll catch things on fire. How about that? So I'm going to take us over to the ocean. Later on today, I may do another broadcast. I'm not sure. I'll certainly take video and pictures from Sunrise Point. It's it's one of our commercial cleaning accounts. I've got a couple of condos I'll be cleaning there, and they're about 100 feet up in the air. I have some video that I've captured from there of the moonrise and sunrise, but the moonrise when it was really cold, like 16 degrees or so, really low humidity. And so from that elevation to see the moon appear over the ocean was spectacular. You can see it. It's called Mysterious Moonrise. With a couple of thousand choices of videos to watch, you know, 2,450 some now. How do I organize that so I have it so the right person sees the right video at the right time to engage them? I can't do it. And the other thing that's going on too is that artificial intelligence is playing hide and seek. It's presenting the reality of this, excuse me, to some and hiding it from others. That's one of the interesting points of that. You know what? I just don't have enough time left on my second recording to warrant doing this. Let me see. Wanted to show you the beautiful reflections there. So this is what we call a changeover day. There will be a lot of people coming and going today here at the beach. We're expecting roughly 20 million guests here in the Grand Strand in this calendar year. We're a little bit more than halfway through that now. Wow, that's a big truck, eh? So this is the Prince Resort, and there are condos available here for sale if you like, or just want to come and have a nice vacation. Hi, Sally. So we recently had the beach renourishment here, and they brought in a lot of sand, like 5 feet of sand or so, with ships and bulldozers moving it around, and I've covered that on my video playlist, my liked videos. I have some that I've termed memes. When a meme isn't enough, let there be Veeams. I wanted to show people the impossibility of the upside down world. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we've got some of the numbers here now for water temp and wind. So, for example, now that there's about 5 feet higher sand here, that changed all the, well, the beach is much wider now because it displaces the water. That's just how it works. Higher is drier and lower is wetter. Real simple. For a while I wasn't doing as many Facebook broadcasts because I wasn't having as good a quality. Seems like the transmission quality has improved now. We have a different carrier. I'm using T-Mobile, which seems to actually be working better. But it may be an infrastructure difference too. It may be not just the carrier, it may be upgraded or intensified communications networks. So I mentioned it earlier, I'll mention it again. One of the reasons Amazon.com can sell things less expensive than almost anybody else is because of the system artificial intelligence has created. Not just the warehouse handling of merchandise, also the system of distribution with contractors that use their own vehicles and deliver packages. Also drones, I believe, are being used, but the bigger issue is the profit center that Amazon.com makes most of its money is the cloud storage, so the internet. They're making it by providing storage that's expandable for corporations. And one of the reasons why this is important to consider is that the business model that's being implemented is basically gobbling up their competition. They'll put them out of business. They can do it for less and squeeze them out of business, keep their prices low, so people are happy with that. And it's kind of like Walmart would do, having an Equate brand right next to a brand name, and money's tight. Like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it doesn't go as far as it did even a month ago, let alone 40, 50 years ago. So because of that, there is a desire that people have to save money, even if it means that wow, there's a big fish. There's a lot of activity right here. I don't know what that was. But anyway, there's a lot of, there's a change in the way that things are. Corporations will put each other out of business by temporarily cutting prices and then later raising those prices. So the artificial intelligence also does much of the trading on the internet, and then directly, and then influences the rest of humanity to basically do its bidding. So there you go. That was today's broadcast. I think I'm gonna, let me see. I'm going to take a look out here. I might just keep it going a little bit longer. I think I will. I'll do it a little bit different. I'm going to end the P1000 though. Thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing. Please explore my channel, and I believe you'll find some interesting content there. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth, and this is my contact information. Easy to find my phone number. I'll tell you, 1-843-504-1776. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. If you want stickers like that, go ahead and call me and send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and I'll send them to you. If you like the shirts and you want to have them made up, Coastal Printing in Myrtle Beach does them for me. I get them in quantity, but I don't sell them. I want to stay away from selling anything. I just promote what I believe in and expose what I believe you should know about. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and take a few pictures. I don't know that I'm going to do another long recording, but I wanted to go ahead and keep the recording going and let you listen to the waves. Good morning. Good morning. One of the things that I've noticed here too with the beach renourishment is the sound of the ocean is much different. The waves are breaking in a different location. They used to break really close to the Boardwalk Cafe. On a high tide, they'd be right up there. On a high tide, the water would go up past where that lady is walking right now. So one of the dynamics that's quite a bit different with video, oh wow, that looks so pretty. Or I should say, the difference between video and stills is really amazing, and I'm probably going to learn to pull some of the photos out of my video. But until I learn how to do that, I'm going to take some pretty pictures out here. So one of the dynamics that many of you are aware of is the ability to use technology when we're at the beach, like updating our status, communicating with people all over the world. I'm not against that. What I wanted to kind of talk about though too is how nice it is to enjoy the beauty and majesty of creation out here, and that has been an important part of my understanding some things and my character development. Now, because of the elevation of the sun in relationship to me, I don't necessarily believe it's changing in elevation, although it may. I'm not sure. But apparently it just moves a course over the stationary Earth. When I point my camera directly at it, it just looks so pretty, the way that the rays of the sun go out, and especially with the polarized lens. And I'm looking for the moon. Whoops, sorry about that. I was looking for the moon right now and I can't find it. I can't see it. It would be up in that area right there. Oh, there it is. I'm on it. So I was able to just to be clear, I'll take another shot of it. I've got to see if I can get it. There it is. So it's really being washed out, but it's in the middle of the view right there. That's where it is, and obviously you can't see it, or I couldn't. So one of the dynamics of a changeover day is that a lot of people will come out to the beach. It's their last day here, and they'll come on out and take a walk or just visit a little bit. And then quite often it's one of the first things people want to do when they get here. So I'm going to go ahead and thank you all for watching, liking, sharing. And yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. I don't know what they'll give me for a thumbnail. I've been enjoying having the sunglasses. I used to wear Ray-Bans a lot. These are an economy version Puma polarized, but they're only like $19 at Costco. They work great. The sun was getting too bright for my eyes. I don't know what's going on with that. It might be, I know when it's low humidity and the sun is closer, it's just really intense. So I get a good amount of shade. That's part of it. I've got videos where I cover things like health maintenance, taking care of the body, putting good nutrition in, thinking healthy thoughts. I listen to the Bible a lot. I want a biblical perspective on how I do life. So there's a lot of content there. I'm going to post the link to my playlist when I end this. Thanks so much for your public and private encouragement.